Yo, this is Reflecting and Connect number 10. We finally made it. This is talking about the integrative approaches and perspectives of repertoire selection. Um, I mean, we like touched about it in class, but we haven't really done anything like concerning it. Like, there's been a couple articles that we've read, but this one's only 5 pages. But I think it was kind of um, it was definitely worth the read, and pretty important to think about when taken in conjunction with the other ones that we've read. Um, it goes about obviously like picking repertoire and thinking about selecting it for age groups. Um, Hence the title. You want to have it to be like an integrative approach. It has to consider music, the music aspect, the education aspect, like what do you want them to learn, and even social factors, so that the song can express. No, it can support technical and expressive growth for the students. Speaking of, they should also. I got this from the text. They should also, like the repertoire selection, should be taken. Um, it should take into account the students' needs and wants as like younger musicians and growing as students. Like knowing like the group or the individual students' strengths and weaknesses to help pick repertoire um, helps to make it just like meaningful and definitely more engaging. Um, Hence, on that point, it helps to develop technical skills. Um, what like aligning with your curriculum goals for that semester. Sorry, I'm really tired today. You want to also make sure that the music itself that you pick is diverse. Don't just use, straight white men as your composers. Especially like in elementary and middle school-ish, you want to get them in touch with more diversity when it comes to rep and picking from different cultures of people to take musical experiences from. Another thing is to have your selection of rep be well-rounded. Like different styles and different periods of music. I just touched on diversity, and that's really important. But having music, say, from like romantic and classical eras, is important for like especially the more advanced musicians that you might have to think about looking into like the music that they might enjoy or potentially play. Um, Basically, just challenge your students and introduce them to new techniques, and balance between like familiar and challenging. It helps to keep them engaged, and also progressing and learning if they're challenged, but also familiar so you don't like lose them the whole time. Like pick stuff that they know. I think it's also important to collaborate with your students, like involve them in picking rep. Don't just. It's okay to have it be just you being the selector and the person picking the rep that they have to play, but include the students. I mean, they're the ones playing it. It helps like them feel like ownership and engagement to know that they're part of their own learning process. Lead them to possibly motivate themselves to practice the music more, to get them ready for the concert. Maybe even take the initiative, to look up future stuff for them to play, maybe next year if they're still in the orchestra. But you also have to step in as the teacher to make sure that the music isn't A, bad, and B, like just for fun. It has to have some sort of like benefit for these students and their growth, and their performance goals that you have for them. Base That is it. Just like being thoughtful about how you pick your rep and being thoughtful about the students' opinions and their growth and progression as musicians. It's really important to take all that into account. Yeah, that's this. Weeks Reflect and Connect.